So here I'm going to demonstrate um, how an ITPA tool can enable you to resolve an incident. So I've taken a typical incident. Let's say my payment website is down, and I'm going to role play the role of an L1 agent. And I'm going to demonstrate how an ITPA tool, that ITPA tool I've used here is Resolve Systems from here. So if you could just go to resolvesystems.com, that's a tool. And if you go to the integration page, you would see um, the different integrations that this tool would use. So you can just take your time and go through this particular. It integrates with many other tools. I told you one of the criteria for ITPA tools would be how well it integrates with many other tools in the market. How does it collaborate? So you can take your time and go through all these good things. What I have done is I've chosen my ITSM tool is ServiceNow. It could be Remedy or any other tool. Okay. So what this demonstration is going to show is that as an L1 agent, can the whole incident resolution process be accelerated without even contacting my SMEs or escalating it to my SMEs? So as an L1 agent, I am assigned this incident. I click on this incident. It gives me some details that the payment gateway is down and all those good things. Now what I could do is that I could click on this guided resolution button, and that is how an ITSM tool service now in this case can integrate with Resolve, the ITPA tool. And you would see that hereafter the ITPA tool will take over and quicken the acceleration to resolve this particular incident. Although all the steps mentioned here can be automated end to end, but we have picked up the human guided automation flow wherein I'm going to interact with the system. Okay, so now I'm still within my ITSM tool of choice and I'm presented with the resolution dashboard. Okay, and that means Resolve has already ran some automation scripts in the background and is presenting me an L1 agent with a lot of information. Okay, so let's see what are the information. It first provides me the context of the incident. It tells me now, of course, this incident I created in service now, but this incident could be a result of a netcool event or a Splunk event, in which case even that context would be shown to me in this particular section. Moving on, I get to see the component involved, the CI involved. Again, here, as an L1 agent, it is very unlikely that I would have access to a CMDB, but Resolve has gone and gathered the information and presented it to me. It has also identified that in the past maybe there were instances where such failures occurred, so it has done some sort of an analytics. And on the right hand side, you could also see that there are color codes here, traffic light like color codes, which indicate something is bad and something is sort of amber and something is green. So as an L1 agent, I'm looking at the red and I know that there's something wrong here. And I see that it has validated this particular incident in the sense that it has told me that this particular URL has returned a 404 error. So I may not know what a 404 error is, but then I see it is red, so I know that's an issue. So the incident has been validated as a true incident and not as a false positive. Anyway, going down, we'll come back to this particular point. But going down, Resolve as sort of integrated with, uh, sort of in handshaked and verified. Is this because of any past changes, or are there other incidents which sort of talk about the same thing? It has also carried out some network diagnostic scripts, um, and then it has also done some database diagnostic scripts. So typically, this sort of information is something that I may not know as an L1 agent, because I don't have the skill, or I may not know how do I access my database and run some checks on the database diagnostic scripts. So, in a very controlled manner, Resolve has presented me as an L1 agent information about what is good and what is bad. So that gives me a very good head start into resolving this incident without me going and escalating to my L2 and getting all this information. So as I said earlier, I need to go back to this and I'll click on this red button, and resolve will now take me to the next level towards troubleshooting this particular incident and enabling me to resolve this. Okay, now here to begin with, I am presented with a question: which application is experiencing the issues? So I got multiple choices here. I may not know which is my application's web server. In which case, I could come down here and I could click this particular submit button, and Resolve would run those steps that is highlighted in front, and it would tell me that it's a Tomcat Apache 6.0.32. So I could go and select that, and this is what we call as interactive automation. I'm interacting with the system. I click next. Although, as I said earlier, these all can be automated, but I'm just trying to show you the interactiveness that is built into the tool. Now there's a diagnostic procedure. I could run all these steps manually, or I could just come and click the submit button, and Resolve would run these scripts and get the information for me. And now Resolve is telling me that my JVM is the issue for this particular Tomcat. So what issue needs to be addressed? So I know it's the Java heap, and that's my JVM Java heap. I pick that and I click next, and now Resolve will take me to the next towards the resolution of this particular incident. And I rather than running these steps one by one, I could just click the submit button and Resolve would do the job for me. Now look at some of these steps that you would need to execute to resolve this incident. And it may be getting username password for my server, which typically as an L1 agent I would not have. I need to SSH into that server, remove the web server from the cluster. I may not have the technical skills to do that. I have to wait for all the connections have died down. I need to shut down the web server, restart it, and then add the web server back into the cluster. So certainly this is something that as an L1 agent I can never do it. But Resolve in the background has ran these things, and it is now executing those steps. Now it's waiting for the sessions to die out. So I could just refresh my screen, and most likely those steps are done. Yes. So now it is all done. The repair procedure is done, and my web server should be up. So I could update my incident in saying that, well, I want this incident to be closed, and then I click next, and okay, and so it says the incident has been closed, and I could just click on the close incident, and it would close the particular incident in ServiceNow. Now, what I have demonstrated in the last couple of minutes is, given a particular incident, as in this case a web server, it's already resolved. There could be so many things that can go wrong from your web server to my database to my transaction or network. But the Resolve as an ITPA tool has sort of provided me a guided automation wherein I could go through a particular sequence of steps and quickly, without escalating to an L2 agent, as an L1 agent, I could really carry out all these steps in a very controlled manner. Okay, so that is about resolving this particular incident. Now, the question comes, what did Resolve do under the carpet? Okay, so what I could do is that I could click on the worksheet button here, and I would get to see what are some of the steps that were done as part of this particular resolution. So here Resolve has captured every step that I did along the way, and it has documented it for me. Every task, what was the condition, what was severity, what was the results, and it has even timestamp. As you know, as an L1 agent, um, it becomes very tough for me to go and document all the activities that I did to resolve an incident. But here, Resolve has done it for me. It has a self recorder which to have done that job. Now let's see even one step below. What was the logic that Resolve used in um, fixing this or resolving this particular kind of incident? And so let me just go to that particular tab, and then I'm open. The whole flow opens up in front of me, um, and let's say I want to edit this flow. Okay, so I click on the pencil button, and then the whole thing opens up as a wizard for me. So let's just go a bit down and see. Let's just read this flow. You do an SSH connect, you capture the version number, and you add it into a work node in ServiceNow. It captures the CPU information and adds it into the work node. It catches some memory information and again adds it into the work node. So let's say I want you to do one more step. So all I need to do is um, I can just use my wizard, and here there's a task. I could just drag my task, keep it in between, and maybe I want to see disk information. So I would just add the disk information here. And Resolve has got automation scripts for over 5,000 automation scripts, and I could just pick the right one, and it is there for me. So that's how easy it is to update the particular flow. Okay, so I don't want to update it now. I want to save it, but that's one way to do it. Now, if you remember, there were a lot of questions being asked to you, your troubleshooting procedure. So let's say I want to update my troubleshooting procedures. There was a question around what was your web server, and within a Tomcat, it tried to analyze the CPU and memory and Java heap. So let's go through that logic and see how that can be modified if need be. Because any flow that you define in your environment, at some point you need to edit it. And so you need to also think from the perspective of um, how easy it is for my team to um, edit, manage, and maintain them. Okay, so give me a minute. Okay, let me just, I don't know, maybe my connection went out or something. Okay, so I could really have, let me just try to do it one more time. I had it here in my troubleshooting procedure, and let me just try to. You should be able to you should be able to edit them easily without having someone to have development knowledge on your environment. So let me just try this one more time. Oh, I'm blocked on something. Give me a minute. Okay, there it is. Okay, so now you will see the interactive questions that you saw in the wizard, and you will see it presented here, and I could change those questions. So let me click on the automation. Okay, here it is. So let me zero in on a particular section. You remember, let me click on the edit button so that I can modify the flow. Okay, so let me just focus here. So you remember your question, which application is experiencing issues? And then you picked up Tomcat, you came here. And here, the check was on CPU, memory, and Java heap. So what I could do is that I may want to consider something else. So what I would do is that um, let me pick, and I want to say, well, I want to pick on the disk, and I will pick a action task or a automation script that relates to disk, verifying the health of a disk. Okay, the disk utilization, whatever it is. So it is as easy as this, So what I showed you was that, using this particular automation builder, I could even change the troubleshooting questions or the procedure that was that you saw in the execution of this particular flow. Okay, so that was a brief demo on automation, on how an ITPA process could automate um, an incident flow, and it could accelerate the resolution of the incident by, in a very human guided manner, making enabling me to make some choices, and then of course resolving it, updating the incident from an end-to-end perspective. Okay, thank you.